Hey everyone, it's Chris from World List. From diving in dangerous places to chasing tornadoes, here are 8 of the most extreme jobs in the world. Number 7. Cave diver. Being a cave diver sounds like a really cool job, right? Well, their purpose is to assist in mankind's quest to learn by carrying out scientific investigations. The profession involves diving into bodies of water, searching for openings, and entering submerged caves. Cave diving is the most intense and extreme form of scuba diving there is, and it's almost always done for technical purposes rather than recreation. If you're not seriously trained, you should not be doing this. Cave divers made headlines last year when they rescued a youth soccer team from the Tangloong cave system. It was a massive operation, and even a very experienced diver sadly lost his life. Cave diving requires extensive training and certification. Many involved in the search and rescue were Navy SEALs or retired military. Professionals insist it's also important to have top-quality gear and equipment. In a December 2013 article for the Tampa Bay Times, writer Terry Tomlin likened cave diving to ice skating on a freshly frozen pond. In his words, you don't know you're in trouble until the ice cracks. He also explained that open water scuba diving is like getting a driver's license. It doesn't make you a professional racer. Even experienced cave divers take risks when they're doing their job. It's pitch dark, and one wrong move could kick up sediment and render a diver's light essentially useless. Due to the danger of cave diving, a diver must swim with twice the amount of equipment as an open water diver, including various duplicate items in case one stops working. Salaries for commercial diving jobs vary depending on demand and the level of danger, although a typical diver can expect to make around $60,000 annually. Number 6. Skydiving instructor. This job is perfect for someone who loves skydiving and wants to do it frequently and cheaper. Skydiving is an expensive hobby, but as an instructor, well, it's just part of your job. A skydiving instructor teaches people the basics of skydiving and then accompanies them on their jump from an airplane several miles in the sky. Skydiving is very safe, but it's undoubtedly also very extreme, and safety is one of utmost importance. Therefore, becoming an instructor is a process that requires some patience, and it can also be quite costly. The first step to becoming a skydiving instructor is to attend a skydiving school, where you'll learn everything you need to know, in both a classroom environment and by doing a jump from an airplane flying at an altitude of between 2 and 3 miles. Next, you'll need to earn skydiving licenses, which will ultimately allow you to become an instructor. Before becoming an instructor, though, you must log 500 jumps and 3 hours of freefall. You must also be a member of the United States Parachute Association. It's common for people to begin their skydiving careers part-time, especially since it's a weather-dependent weekend activity. An instructor will probably only work up to 10 months out of the year. Someone who wants to work year-round as an instructor will most likely have to seek employment in a warm place like Southern California. Most drop zones pay per jump, but some do pay hourly. Full-time skydivers usually make somewhere between $20,000 and $40,000 annually, making it definitely a career someone pursues more out of passion than for money. Number 5. Stunt person. Being a stuntman or woman is dangerous for obvious reasons. While it is becoming more common to use special effects and other technology to create a dramatic scene, stuntmen are still sometimes needed. Stunts are designed to be as safe as possible, but the work does come with inevitable risks and is extremely physically demanding, and it requires highly trained and physically fit professionals. Becoming a stunt person is complicated because there's no formal method of approach to doing so. Usually, someone who aspires to become a stunt person learns their trade through an experienced professional or through a lengthy apprenticeship. Either way, there's no real established system for gaining the training necessary to become a stunt person. In other words, it's not something just anyone can sign up for. In order to work, a stunt person must be a member of the Screen Actors Guild, the union that governs all on-screen film performers. To become a member of the Screen Actors Guild, a person must have, at the very least, some on-camera experience working as an extra. By working frequently as an extra, someone hoping to become a stunt person can familiarize themselves with movie sets and stunt coordinators. It also provides the opportunity for the hopeful individual to spark up a conversation with a stunt coordinator during one of their rare free moments, and to maybe even offer their resume and headshot, in hopes that the stunt coordinator will pass their information along to potential employers. Getting one's foot in the door is half the battle. Once a wishful candidate receives a call, they'll still probably start out as a gopher and have to work their way up. Stunt work, especially at the lower levels, is both unsteady and competitive, but the average salary for a stunt person is $70,000 a year. Number 4. Miners. Working in the mining industry tends to pay very well, especially when the prices of minerals and metals are doing well. However, it's also a very demanding and dangerous job. The conditions of a mining environment require workers to be psychologically sound and in good physical health. Shifts often last 12 hours, and workers can typically expect to be underground the entire time. Mining workers often work many days in a row with minimal days off. Some mining operations are remote, requiring workers to leave home for months at a time to stay at the mining camp. Workers are usually expected to perform heavy physical labor in just about any weather conditions, which are often less than ideal. For example, underground mines are often dark, hot, noisy, and wet. Mine workers often have to do their jobs in cramped and confined spaces that require them to labor on their hands and knees, backs, and even stomachs. There are several serious emergencies that can happen on the job site, including cave-ins, mine fires, explosions, and exposure to harmful gases and dust. Miners are at an elevated risk for 2 serious lung diseases: pneumoconiosis or black lung disease, and silicosis. According to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics, the average yearly salary for a mine worker is $62,620. That is incredibly specific. Number 3. Storm chaser. Storm chasers pursue a variety of severe weather conditions. The single biggest objective for most chasers is to witness a tornado, but they're also known to go after other types of storms. Storm chasing is primarily a recreational activity to most. However, chasers sometimes work in cooperation with universities or the government to conduct scientific work. They are also often the first to alert relevant authorities to dangerous storm conditions. This type of help benefits real-time warnings through the provision of ground truth information. These types of reports from storm chasers also contribute towards making severe storm databases more reliable, which also helps to improve forecast and warning skills. Chasing storms is a time-consuming process, and it often involves driving several thousands of miles to reach a destination. And that's just in hopes of witnessing an event that occurs over a relatively short window of time. Once the chasers arrive at the site of the expected storm, they just have to wait for it to hopefully happen. It's not unusual for a storm chaser to invest their time, effort, and resources into pursuing a severe weather event and instead come up empty-handed. Pursuing hazardous weather is inherently dangerous. Not only can the weather itself harm a storm chaser, they also have to worry about things like downed power lines, animals in the road, and reduced visibility due to heavy rain. By exercising caution and situational awareness, most risks can be avoided. Storm chasers also tend to get distracted behind the wheel, although teams of chasers usually coordinate their mission to avoid the driver having to multitask. Number 2. Oil rig worker. When it comes to some jobs, danger is unavoidable. These unsung heroes of the world work 12-hour shifts out in the middle of a body of water while trying to extract an element from the earth below that can combust if something goes wrong. Even walking the platform of a rig is a big risk. You take the wrong step somewhere and you can get swept out into the ocean or fall into another part of the rig and sustain serious injuries. Then there's the worst-case scenario: the possibility of the rig exploding. Anyone who's seen Man of Steel or Deepwater Horizon knows how dangerous and violent it can get when oil combusts, and even if the Coast Guard immediately receives a call for help, getting to the rig is a race against the clock that may not be won. When you get your oil changed or fill the gas tank in your vehicle, remember that there are hard-working people doing an extreme job so you can get around. Number 1. Bering Sea fishermen. In the Bering Sea, many fishermen and fisherwomen have disappeared and perished trying to obtain their catch. The long-running Discovery Channel series The Deadliest Catch showcases the hunt for crabs in treacherous waters. The Bering Sea is notorious for having some of the worst weather in the world. One day the water is calm and flat, seagulls flying peacefully overhead. Then the next day, there are rough 30-foot waves crashing constantly. The longer a fishing vessel spends on the water catching crabs, the more dangerous the situation becomes. A recent Deadliest Catch special discussed a part of the Bering Sea where 200 ships have sunk. This area is known as the Bering Sea Triangle and is a terror for fishermen to be in, but it does have an abundance of crabs. During winter, fishermen have to fight freezing spray that can add 2,000 pounds of ice to the boat per minute. They must also be careful to avoid getting caught in the ice packs, a miles-long sheet of ice that descends into the crab grounds. Because of where the Bering Sea is situated relative to Alaska, the only hope for rescue that fishermen have are either from other boats or the U.S. Coast Guard, both of which might be too far away to reach a distressed vessel in time to rescue its occupants. This job is dangerous, but it has the potential to pay large sums of money over a very short amount of time. A few weeks on the Bering Sea in the right boat can earn someone tens of thousands of dollars, if not more. Well, thanks for watching. Would you consider getting any of these extreme jobs? I probably wouldn't, but let me know in the comments below. Be sure to subscribe and I'll see you next time.